Dale Reynolds Gaming, Racing Pencil. Well, hello everybody, and we do apologize about the little bit of a delay. My name is Dale Reynolds, and I'm very proud to bring to you guys all tonight a special presentation running of the iRaceSims Invitational here. This is going to be an interesting race. I welcome you all, and I thank you all for tuning in and checking this out. The first time that we have done a broadcast on iRacing on this channel, and I'm a big fan of iRacing. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody who runs in the iRaceSims, the league formerly known as PORA, the Professional Online Racing PORA. Excuse me, I gotta get my notes straight. But I thank you all very much for tuning in. You can see right here, Figure 8 Racing at the inside of Irwindale Speedway, the Whelen Modified. This is going to be crazy. It's going to be really crazy. As you see, take a look here. We got the iRacing thing we got the spectator mode on right now, and everything is good. It's going to be crazy. We got a number of people in this race right now, and oh man, I can tell you what. You thought American Stock Car last night race was really good. This is going to be absolutely insane. Figure 8 racing, everybody knows, some of the best racing you'll see ever. As far as your local short tracks and stuff. So a big shout out to these guys at iRaceSims, putting on an awesome little invitational race here tonight, trying to get everybody back together. No points on the line, just some friendly competition, and gonna be a fun little race to bring to you guys. It's a 2-hour event. That means there is no lap times or anything of the sort. It's really just 2 hours. Go out, run as many laps as you possibly can, and try not to wreck too much. Car setups, obviously people got their cars set up and everything like that, so it's not fixed setups, it's open setups. But really the name of the game tonight is really just going to be try to complete as many laps as you possibly can within the 2-hour frame. And again, my name is Dale Reynolds. Some of these guys right now in practice, they're just kind of practicing right now. The race is slated to kick off at 9:30 Eastern time here. So we thank you guys for tuning in. Guys, again, are just going around and doing a little bit of practice right now. If you don't mind, we're going to go ahead and pull up our practice leaderboard. The practice leaderboard right now, you see Marcus Brown right now, the number 51. He is currently fastest. He ran 11.78. I don't know if that lap time was entirely legal or not. But he's got an 11.78 second lap. Travis McKinney, well-renowned sim racer as well. Heath Helton as well. Heath Helton is a two-time PORA champ. He just jumped up to second on the board. Travis McKinney third. Blake Schock fourth. Paul Hahn, another pretty well-renowned sim racer. He's in fifth right now. Julian, I do apologize if I butcher this. Julian Ribolo. I do apologize, Julian, if I do severely butcher your name. I do much apologies, but he's currently 6th fastest. Rob Toll is in 7th. Jason Cotterhill in 8th. And then you see Doc Stout is also here. Unfortunately, we couldn't join in as a spectator, so we have a car, so we are not. Obviously, myself, Dale Reynolds, I'm not racing. So, but yeah, you see everything is up here, up and running. And again, thank you guys so very much for tuning in to tonight's event here at Irwindale. The Figure 8 is going to be a crazy race. It really is. And I'm very honored, humbled, and pleased that the guys with iRaceSims, and again, the guys formerly known as PORA, getting everybody back together after what seemed to be about a 3-year hiatus. And do appreciate them allowing us to broadcast their stuff tonight. Oh, you see Paul Hahn get his... Oh, he got clocked right there. Yes, this is a Figure 8 that does intersect. So it's going to be so much fun. That's all this race is about. It's just going to be just getting the guys back together and just having fun. It's going to be a 2-hour event, and it's all this is about. And especially with these modifieds. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because, as you can tell, these Whelen Modifieds, these cars are built to take left-hand turns. They are staggered. But obviously the guys wow, it was a very close contact right there. And once again, these modifieds are meant to turn in one direction. Now, sure, they can make the setups and try to balance them out, both for the left hand and the right hander. But it's going to be interesting to see because, again, if we could show you a screenshot, if we're going to get you inside of, see what we have here. We are going to get you inside of Heath Helton's car. You take a look here at the cockpit. These modifieds, you can't see much of anything out of these guys. You can't see. You know, they got the big blower there in the front. You know, you got a little windscreen in front of you, but you really cannot see much of anything in these modifieds. So it's not like you can really try to see if there's somebody coming at you, you know, at the intersection. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. And I thank you guys once again for tuning in and joining on this special live stream here with the guys at iRaceSims. So once again, you know, just a 2-hour race, and the guys do have unlimited. They have an unlimited, you know, requesting new cars and getting their cars repaired and everything else. So, unfortunately, it was not what the moderators and the admins wanted to do. But in testing the previous couple of weeks or so, unfortunately, just the testing didn't turn out very well to limit the number of cars that you were required to have, or you were allowed to have. You see Heath Helton now actually going around the track. Let's take a look at Heath Helton as he's going around the track right now. You see, it looks like he's real smooth on the gas, real smooth on the brake. And again, this is not going to be one of those all-out races like you would normally see like on American Stock Car or any oval racing, where, you know, you try to run consistent laps and you try to go out and run as fast as you can. This is a different beast. All you're trying to do is run consistent and try to wreck the least amount. So again, this is going to be an absolute blast. So we're going to go back here, come back into the UI, and we're just going to go back and go to the most exciting battle here on the track right now. You see Jason Cotterill. That's who we're on board with right now. And now we are actually on board with the number 51 of Marcus Brown, that yellow and blue modified. You see the guys are all sitting there racing each other right now. He locks up the brakes going into the right-hander. But you can see that these Featherlight modifieds are definitely just, you can see how offset they are. They're built to go and take left-handers the right way. The guys are really going to have to, you know, challenge themselves and really make these setups so that they can turn both left and right as well. Gonna pull up the UI here once again, and you know, it's 9:28 p.m. so the guys are getting ready to kick off this event in just a few minutes. A little bit of a smaller turnout, but that's okay. Looks like John Peterson has joined. Everybody knows John Peterson from Race Sim Nation. Unfortunately, he's no longer a part of Race Sim Nation. Unfortunately, as you know, some of the things that have been floating around. Yes, John Peterson no longer with Race Sim Nation, but it's good to see John Peterson. He's a familiar face, and good to see him joining out here in iRacing. You see Doc Style right there, that number 62 Featherlight modified, or, you know, Whelen Modifieds, excuse me. This is just going to be a fun race. It really is, and I'm very, very excited to bring this to you guys. So, once again, a big thank you to Heath Helton and Travis McKinney, the guys that are behind iRaceSims. Again, the guys formerly known as PORA. Very, very cool to be able to watch this event. Right there, that number 62. There we go. Modified, and I got my replay on right there. So, yeah, this is just this is very cool. This is very, very cool indeed. And I'm gonna check out some comments here. I'm gonna try to do my best to try and include some comments here in the live broadcast. So we do appreciate you guys. You know, definitely appreciate everybody that's tuning out right now. We got a couple viewers here: Victory Lane 12, Zach the Sports Guy. A lot of dedicated guys on my channel from the NASCAR 2005 live streams and the NASCAR 98 that actually just wrapped up. So, Dennis Trusty, Dennis Trusty says the goal tonight is to not die. Yeah, sounds about right. Ben Rinaldi, video quality looks phenomenal. A+. Ben Rinaldi, we thank you very much. Thank you very much for tuning in. And just here because it's figure 8 racing, the Irishman and JC1424, Derpy Dago. Again, thank you guys all very much for tuning in. This is going to be very fun. It is very, very fun. You see the Blake Shock right there, the number 141, and Paul Hahn, the number 7. Guys are getting ready to, it's going to be just a little bit, actually we're just getting words now that it's just going to be a little bit over. I think it's going to be 9:35 as we're looking at a green flag start. So, again, this is going to be very, very exciting to say the least. Let's ride with Marcus Brown. Ashton Craig. All right, Ashton Craig. Don't know if I'll be able to always take requests like this, but since we're not really sitting here doing much of anything, we will go ahead and take this request here, Ashton Craig. Let's ride with Marcus Brown. We will ride with Marcus Brown here. He's currently not doing anything out on the track. It looks as though everybody's starting to maybe get lined up here. See if we can go around and see the other guys. He's in the pits right now. Let's ride around here with Travis McKinney. And in the cockpit, looks like he's already parked it up, and he's in the pit lane as well. And the pit lane, obviously being, you know, the Irwindale, the figure 8 is inside of the Irwindale Speedway. So pit lane is actually pretty interesting. The start-finish line is located just before the left-hander. You see right there is the start-finish line, and you got the pit lane that goes around the outside of the left-hander. So, but when you go through pit lane, you don't really come out on the other side there. You come out on the other side, but you wrap around and go back around to the start-finish line. So, see if let's see Project Cars 2 and Ashton Craig. Let's see if Marcus Brown is back out. There he is. There's Marcus Brown. We're taking the request there. So here's Marcus Brown going around the racetrack. You see the view that he's got behind the cockpit. Looks like he's just taking it real nice and smooth. Again, going to be a very, very fun race tonight, guys. So, and again, green flag scheduled 9:35 p.m. Eastern, and it's just a 2-hour event. There's no amount of laps. There's no fixed amount of laps. It's just run as many laps as you can in 2 hours and try not to wreck too much. So, there is Marcus Brown riding around right now and trying to figure out cameras. Do apologize, we're still working on some things. We were trying to work hard and get a nice overlay, you know, with IRO-TV. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to work out. So unfortunately, we just have to deal with the default iRacing UI. So do appreciate it though, once again. Working with what the best that we got. We're just little old Dale Reynolds Gaming, just doing what he's got to do. So, but it's gonna be very fun. You see Marcus Brown there, the number 51. He's being chased down by Blake Schock, the number 141 modified. Again, a lot of these guys, you see that figure 8 is just so close, man. It's just so close. You see Marcus Brown still going around there. Wow. Just I'm surprised he's run as many laps clean as he has. You see, we pull up our leaderboards here. Currently, Marcus Brown still showing the fastest lap at 11:78. Like I said, I have no idea if that is a legal lap time or not. You see that Marcus Brown is running some cones over. Rest in peace to the cones out off the right-hander. But Travis McKinney currently at second fastest. Julian Rubelo is third. Heath Helton, Paul Hahn, the top 5. Blake Schock, Rob Toles, Jason Cotterill, Doc Stout as well. And John Peterson is also, he has not turned a lap yet, but he is in the servers. So gonna be very interesting, once again, to say the least. Looking very, very forward to this. He's Travis McKinney here. He is currently in the garage right now. Julian's also in the garage. Heath Helton is on pit lane. Here's Paul Hahn. Let's ride along with Paul Hahn. Get right into the cockpit of Paul Hahn here. You see that figure 8 is just it's got to be one of those deals where it's like, I don't know if I want to go full throttle, and you can't see. I mean, you can kind of see more straight forward out there, but you can't really turn your head. You can't really turn your head and see who's coming and who's going. And that's going to make this event interesting. For those of you curious, again, for the guys that formerly known as PORA, you see Paul Hahn looks like he's stopping, almost trying to come into pit road. But for the guys, all the links are in the description of this video. In the description of this video, all the links to the iRaceSim and excuse me, iRaceSims website. If you guys are interested, if you guys got iRacing and you want to join, please give these guys a shout. All the links are there in the description. Again, these guys, formerly known as PORA, and they were kind of on a hiatus for 2 or 3 years or so, and now they're all trying to get everybody back together and just trying to, you know, have a nice little fun race here. So looks like everybody is here and getting ready to qualify. Got a 5-minute qualifying session waiting for the first driver to actually take track right now. You take a look at that figure 8. Look at the camera right there at the figure 8. I wouldn't be surprised if the camera right there got taken out somehow in the middle of right there and almost really close to the center of the figure 8. Obviously, we kid because it's iRacing, but camera can't really get taken out, but no. So, like I said, once again, these guys are getting ready to go qualifying right now. If you guys just give us 1 second, we're just going to take a real quick short break, and we're going to come right back for tonight's iRaceSims, a little figure 8 Whelen Modified race live from the Irwindale Speedway. Again, Dale Reynolds is in the booth with you guys. We do really appreciate you guys tuning in. This is going to be very fun. We're just going to step away for 1 quick minute. We will be right back for all your racing action here at Irwindale. All right, everybody, welcome back to tonight's iRaceSims, the figure 8 inside of the Irwindale Speedway, the Invitational race. The guys formerly known as PORA. Dale Reynolds is in the booth to bring you all the action, and looks like the guys they had a driver's meeting, they didn't elect to qualify. So definitely going to be very, very fun. We're all gridding up right now, so let's run it through the starting grid for you guys. So I believe the starting grid is going to be based off of, they did run qualifying, so unfortunately we took a break through qualifying, but Julian Rubilo, he is on the pole with Heath Helton to his outside. Paul Hahn starting third in at number 7. Travis McKinney starting fourth in the number 48 car. See if we could pull up a couple extra TV cameras here. There we go. So Travis McKinney starting fourth. There's Julian Rubilo in the number 06. There's Heath Helton in number 16. Paul Hahn in the number 7. Travis McKinney in the 48 starting 4th. Blake Schock starting 5th. Rob Tolez starting 6th. Jason Cotterhill starting 7th. Marcus Brown starting 8th in the field. John Peterson qualified 9th. And Doc Stout electing not to run a lap. He is starting shotgun on the field for tonight's event. So we got ourselves a good 10 people out here for this little invitational. A little bit of a short. Doesn't matter if the grid is huge here or not, because it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to be, it doesn't matter how many cars are on the track. There's going to be action all over this place. So definitely going to be interesting, to say the least. You see we pull up the TV camera right there. You guys are getting ready to grid off. Got about 10 more seconds here, so put it down in the comments of the live stream. Who's your pick for this race tonight? Again, just a 2-hour race. It will count laps, obviously. The person after 2 hours to to obviously get themselves gridded up, and then obviously to race as well. 2 hours in, how many laps are these guys going to complete, and who is your pick to try and get this little win here, this Irwindale figure 8? And again, no points on the line, just a nice little fun race for these guys to try to get everybody back together, get the camaraderie back. These guys were on hiatus for 2 or 3 years, so just trying to have a fun little figure 8 race here to get everybody back together. It's going to be fun. It is definitely going to be fun. So let's see what we have here. We're going to move up with these TV screens here. We're still working on some buttons here, so I do appreciate you guys giving us a little bit of a heads up here. And the green flag is out. We are underway here at Irwindale. Julian out to an early lead, and it will not be very, very long for this figure 8 intersection to start coming into play. 1 lap down for Julian. You see Heath Helton is now in second. We've already got a little bit of action there with the number 34. Moving up to the number 51. And you see the number 62 of Doc Stout. He is currently up in that 8th position right now. Guys are singled out for the most part, but take a look at this little battle here. We got the number 9, the number 141. We've already got a collision in that figure 8. There we go. Got the sky cam right now on that number 9 car. Gonna be very interesting, to say the least, as we keep the results going up here. You see that Julian has still got the lead. Travis McKinney, Paul Hahn, Blake Schock, and Jason Cotterill. Heath Helton is already back way down in the last position. He looks like he was the one that got contact there. It's going to go on board right here with the number 9 of Jason Cotterill. See, take a look what he sees through his little windscreen right there. He's got a couple cars. I got 2-3 cars in front of him. And again, this race is just not about, pure brute speed or anything of the sort. It's just trying to run some laps and try not to get taken out. And again, the person with the most laps completed after 2 hours will be the winner. So very interesting to say the least. Right now it's pretty tame. Heath Helton's already gotten one of his repairs done. You see a group of cars right there. They're all riding together right now, and that's probably the safest thing that you could ask for right now. See, John Peterson is also showing 3 laps down as well. The number 48 of Travis McKinney and the number 7 of Paul Hahn right there with Jason Cotterill. Alright, you got someone pulling off here to the side of the track. I do believe that that is John Peterson in number 34. Currently being listed right now at 9th, 4 laps down. And double check here on Heath Helton. Heath Helton is in the pit lane. And it looks like he's in pit road. I don't know if he's having some kind of issue with that car, but currently right now he is showing in pit lane. You see Julian Rubula. Wow, very close contact right there. Julian, the leader right now, and you can see that he is definitely leading this thing. He's got a nice, pretty big lead right there, but you see that figure 8 will even things up very, very quickly. Look at him lock up the right front tire going through the right-hander, and rest in peace cones. He's taking some cones out. He's got himself a pretty nice lead right now. He's showing about 6.4 seconds ahead of second place Paul Hahn, Travis McKinney. You can take a look at this little battle right here as Paul Hahn now slides through on the left-hander, and Travis McKinney takes that second spot. Aside from John Peterson and Heath Helton, to the guys who have issues early on in this race, it looks as though that everybody is maintaining to stay in the lead. Lap is a 9 car. If Jason Cotterill gets really loose, he's able to hold on to it. Everybody misses him. Oh, and the 141. The 141 of Blake Schock gets taken, wiped out. Let's take a look at the replay on that one. Take a look at the replay here on Blake Schock. Take a look at the in-car camera. Coming through the right-hander, and it's completely blind. You cannot see. Pow! Drilled in the driver's side door. So, wow. Very, you know, tough break for him, but again, this is a figure 8 race, and everybody's having a bunch of fun. So, and you get unlimited repairs too, unlimited car repairs and everything else. So you can just repair that car and jump back in the race, and you know everything's all just fine. So that's the first one that we've caught so far in the middle of that figure 8. Right now, we're riding on with Rob Toles. Take a ride with Rob Toles here. He's got a group of cars in front of him. And the tricky thing is that now these tires are starting to wear out. This track is going to rubber up. It's not exactly got a whole lot of rubber on it at the moment. So, you know, these tires are starting to wear out on these Fairlight Modifieds. And it's tough to try and lay the power down, especially coming out of the right-hander. The right-hander is pretty sharp here at Irwindale, more so than the left-hander. And again, with these Modifieds, that they're built to turn left. So those right-handers are pretty difficult as it is. As he takes it, he hits some cones there, so that won't be the first time, and he gets hit. Ooh, he gets hit by the 141. So 141 again in another collision there. Blake Schock is having a difficult time so far. What a tough break for him. Travis McKinney has taken the lead right now. He's taking it over Jason Cotterill, Rob Torres. So Julian Rubula, he has unfortunately looked like he's got some issues right now. He has lost the lead. So Travis McKinney has now picked up the lead in that number 48 Fairlight, or excuse me, not Fairlight, but Whelen Modified, excuse me. A very, very fun race. You see the brake rotors on Travis McKinney's car glowing just a little bit. You see them glowing right there. Locks up the right front tire. But very, very fun indeed. Take a look at here, TV number 3. Probably the best view of this entire track as we ride along, as we focus on Travis McKinney. You see someone coming out of pit lane. makes it through clean. That's the exit of pit lane right there. You see the pit lane with the cones. You come out of pit lane off of the left-hander, and then you just take another hard left and get onto, I guess, what you would call the main straightaway. The main straightaway, well, obviously with the start-finish, you see right there, right before the left-hander. What has been a very interesting race so far, and everybody's been up and down. Currently, your results right now, Travis McKinney has got a 1.3 second lead over Doc Stout. You see the battle right there on the screen, and it's down to about a half a second. Jason Cotterill, Marcus Brown, and Julian are in the top 5 right now. Julian Rubelo, I believe, if I'm getting his pronunciation correct. And again, I do apologize if I did not get it correct there. So more cones being taken out, and very close right there between the number 9 of Jason Cotterill. But there's your battle for the lead right now. We are going to just go ahead and try to focus on what is quote-unquote the most exciting as far as iRacing is concerned. So somebody's Paul Hahn has got hit in the center of the figure 8, and oh, Jason Cotterill almost got taken out too. And you can see that Paul Hahn, I believe, is smoking something pretty fierce. You see him right there, that number 7. Oh, so close again. Wow. Again, this figure 8, very, very fun. You see John Peterson, looks like he's coming out of pit lane here. You see that Jason Cotterill is now our target of focus. He is currently 4th right now. He's 5.1 seconds behind, but again, that could change. Very that center of the figure 8 can even things up in a heartbeat. Let's ride along here, and Doc Stout has now taken the lead. Doc Stout, let's see what Doc Stout has in front of his cockpit right here. You see the mud, and you can see that looks like the number 9 got hit there again. So Jason Cotterill is kind of being a target right now, I guess. And you see Paul Hahn still out there running. He is smoking like crazy. It looks like he's going to finally take that thing to pit road and try to get it repaired the best that he can. But Doc Stout right now currently your leader. Nope, I'm sorry. He is currently showing his second. Julian has now taken the lead. But it looks like he's on pit lane. And so Doc Stout will, in fact, retake the lead. Looks like these guys are coming into pit lane. I don't know if these guys are trying to change tires or if they're actually repairing their car, but this leaderboard, throw the leaderboard out the window. Seriously, throw the leaderboard out the window. It's just going to be a nice little fun race here. Everybody just kind of, you see that the number 16 right there checking up. Looks like he was just trying to be a little easy. I guess he knew that there was going to be some cars there. But Doc Stout currently your leader right now. You see the mud particles on the mud screen. You see, oh no, the 51 pulls up in front of him, trying to get straight. The number 51 of Marcus Brown tried to get back straight, and he pulls right in front of Doc Stout. Doc Stout with nowhere to go. Looks like Doc Stout still has the lead though, so I guess no harm, no foul, right? Jason Cotterill being shown in second, and you see right now, you see guys multiple laps down. Just Jason Cotterill and Doc Stout are on the lead lap. Marcus Brown, Julian Rubelo, and Travis McKinney right now. Marcus Brown 1 lap down. Julian Rubelo and Travis McKinney 2 laps down. Rob Toles is 5 laps down. Paul Hahn 6 down. Blake Schock 8 laps down, along with Heath Helton and John Peterson showing 13 laps down. Well, you see more contact in the center right there. Travis McKinney. See if we can go back and take a look at Travis McKinney here. Take a look and see what happens here. Let's ride on board. You see he's going through the figure 8 and clobbered by Jason Cotterill. Ugh. You see Julian Julian texting in the box there. He said, damn, fast repair doesn't use. Wow. So, and every time that the guys crash and they get major damage, they obviously have to sit in pit lane for them to get their cars, quote-unquote, towed back to pit lane as per iRacing's usual stuff. So, as we go back forward here, we're going to fast forward back up to the live action. You see Travis McKinney is still on pit lane. As we ride along here with Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown, let's take a look at right along with Marcus Brown here. He's got John Peterson in front of him. Right now, the track seems to be a little bit safer, and there's Heath Helton. Heath Helton currently running in the 9th position. And he has got Paul Hahn in front of him. Look at the right front tire of Paul Hahn. Oh, he gets cleaned out. And Heath Helton get taken out with that one. Oh, and Marcus Smith. Oh, excuse me, Marcus Brown. Excuse me. Wow. Just nowhere to go. Let's watch that one again. Coming through the right-hander. You see Paul Hahn in front of him. And right about there, you see that Marcus Brown crashes into Paul Hahn, and then Heath Helton trying to make an evasive action just couldn't get there in time. So, and this figure 8 is something else, man. It really is something else, isn't it? So, taking a look at results once again, looks like Doc Stout has still got the lead. And right now, he is currently showing a full lap in front of the field. He started shotgun on the field, so he's moved his way up past everybody. 2 laps down is Marcus Brown. 4 laps down, Jason Cotterill, Travis McKinney. Oh, and Doc Stout. Oh, that's Travis McKinney. He's upside down. He got hammered by somebody. Let's go ahead and take a look back at that. He got hammered. There's Travis McKinney. He gets hammered by John Peterson, and he went flying into the actual racetrack of Irwindale. So he got hit. He got hit hard. He got hit very, very hard. Wow. Definitely something interesting here, these figure 8s. And you see right now that Travis McKinney is on pit lane. Marcus Brown is also on pit lane. Doc Stout is still out there running, though. Heath Helton is out there running. Julian, unfortunately, is on pit road. And Paul Hahn is out there. He's gotten that smoking car fixed up pretty good. I guess he's used one of his repairs and got that thing back out there. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. Again, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. The mic came unplugged, so we do apologize about that. Hope you guys are all enjoying this. It looks like everybody is enjoying this from the comments here. Very, very fun indeed. You see Doc Stout now has a pretty commanding lead right now of 4 laps here. Right along with Doc Stout. It looks like he's been able to avoid most of the catastrophe tonight, so that's always a good thing. Just kind of running slow and steady and not really getting caught up in that little center of the figure 8 right there. So he's got a nice commanding 4-lap lead as we're just shy of 19 minutes through this race so far. He's just driving real nice and smooth. Look at him, just left and right. He's not really fighting the wheel all that much. You know, he's got it turned. He's kind of moving it back and forth a little bit, but, you know, he's not really fighting it. It looks like that, you know, his car seems to be handling pretty decently. So at least he's got that going for him. It looks like he's got some mud spots up on the windshield, on the little windscreen, and on the visor as well. So gonna ride in here with drop in on second place, Jason Cotterill. He is up on the track right now. Look at him wheel that car. He is slinging that thing through the right-handers and the left-handers. John Peterson, unfortunately, has parked the vehicle, so it looks like he is done for the race. He's going to come home right there in the dead last position, currently showing 20 laps down. So, tough break for John Peterson. Again, just a nice little fun race and, you know, just a fun little figure 8 track to race on. John Peterson's going to wind up here, disconnecting here from the 10th position, shotgun on the field. Very exciting here, this little figure 8 race right now. Marcus Brown currently running in the 3rd position. He and Jason Cotterill are both on the same lap. So he and Jason Cotterill right now is the car directly in front of him. So he's trying to track him down for that, trying to get that 2nd position as he takes some cones out. I have a funny feeling that the cones are just gonna cones are just kind of you know, they're needed to mark where you need to go, but you know, everybody's just gonna keep running over those cones, so we're gonna see a lot of cone deaths tonight. Dropping on fourth place, Paul Hahn. He is actually right behind Marcus Brown and Jason Cotterill, but he's showing 3 laps down compared to those guys. 7 laps down overall. Doc Stout, one of guys that we used to race. You know, I'll give him a little bit of a shout out. We used to race against him on the ARCA platform, and he's smooth as silk riding around here right now. He's got a nice 4-lap lead over everybody else. He's just hoping he don't get hit by nobody. Gonna drop in here on Blake Schock in 5th, and all these guys are running all together here in kind of a one big clump. Blake Schock and Paul Hahn fighting each other for a position. Those guys are battling. They're on the same lap. They're 7 laps down to Doc Stout, but they are on the same lap. Rob Toles is out here, and he is 8 laps down, running in the 6th position. Travis McKinney also running 8 laps down. He is about a full corner behind Rob Toles there for his next position. And Heath Helton is showing 9 laps down. Currently running in the 8th position. Oh, a big crash right there. Ooh, let's go back and rewind that. Who was that? Do believe that was Travis McKinney, who was right in front of Heath Helton. And he gets clobbered by Doc Stout. Doc Stout, who had been running so good up to this point, finally looks like he's having his first incident right there, jumping on board with Doc and just, collides with Travis McKinney. Wow. So now Doc Stout's got to use a quick repair, and you can see that that lead is now going to, that gap is going to drop. 3 laps now for Jason Cotterill. Jason Cotterill is still out there running. Jason Cotterill in that number 9. He's really wanting Doc Stout to stay in pit road for as long as possible. They're hoping they have to repair that car for a while. My goodness. You see Paul Hahn also right there. And, you know, Paul Hahn, again, he is showing, you know, 5 laps down. Jason Cotterill is just 2 laps down now. Doc Stout still showing on pit road, so looks like Jason Cotterill and Marcus Brown, those guys running right there, going through the right-hander. You see Marcus Brown taking some cones out on the exit of that right-hander. Almost gets clipped through this figure 8. But my goodness. Oh, and he gets hit. The 51 takes out, I believe that was Heath, and it was Heath Helton. So he and Marcus Brown both having to now repair their vehicles. That's a tough break for Marcus Brown because he was trying to track down Jason Cotterill. Jason Cotterill now is on a lap pretty much by himself. Oh, and he gets taken out by Travis McKinney. Another wreck for Travis. Travis is just getting hit everywhere tonight, man. You can see it right there. 10 laps down. Oh, man, he's just getting wrecked everywhere. We're going to take a ride here with Travis McKinney. Let's take a ride. Let's get on the cockpit here with Travis McKinney. Let's see what the cockpit shows. He's coming out of pit lane. That's even worse. He was just coming out of pit road and got hit again. Oh, that's gotta suck. That's really gotta suck. And I know that I'm trying to broadcast and try not to use some kind of you know, more disparaging words, but that is really just, that really sucks. That really sucks. So he is back on pit road for another quick repair. Doc Stout is back out on the track right now, and he is currently got 3 laps over the field. Looks like Jason Cotterill, unfortunately, he was the one that collided with Travis McKinney. So now Jason Cotterill had gained up, and he was back to just 1 lap down. It's now back down to 3 laps down. So Paul Hahn right now in the 3rd position. And you see we're riding on board with Paul Hahn right now. Let's see if we can go ahead and eliminate this UI. Let's ride a couple laps here with Paul Hahn. Paul Hahn, again, another very smooth driver, a very talented driver. Paul Hahn, obviously, he is a 3-time truck champion and a 4-time ARCA truck champ, so he knows how to get it done here in sim racing. Definitely one of the more veteran guys as far as the sim racing community is concerned. Let's take a ride here with Paul Hahn. let's just try and take a listen to see how he's playing with the throttle, how he's using his brakes, and take a couple laps here with Paul Hahn really fast. Wow, and he narrowly avoids catastrophe. Wow, somebody got taken out there. It looked like that may have been Doc Stout, but we'll take a look at the replay. And it was Doc Stout. And Travis McKinney again. Travis McKinney again. Looks like we jump on board with Travis McKinney. I do believe that was him. And once again, just gets hit again. Travis McKinney with some really bad luck here. He got hit once again, and he takes out Doc Stout this time. Wow. So we're back out here, and we're back live, and Travis McKinney's got his repairs done. He didn't have to use a quick repair. There's a difference there. He was able to pull the car into pit lane, and he was able to pit, and the crew could fix the damage. And, oh, and live again. Travis McKinney is just a rolling magnet tonight, apparently. It looks like he got caught up here with, it looks like Heath Helton. And that is Heath Helton right there. Oh, man. And Heath Helton goes flying. Right on board with Heath Helton. I saw Earth, Sky, Earth, Sky. Look, Earth, Sky, Earth, Sky, Earth, Sky. He got hit hard. Heath Helton has been getting hit. Heath Helton looks like when he gets hit hard. And he goes flying onto the actual Irwindale track once again. So, wow. Doc Stout is still leading this thing right now. Paul Hahn has moved himself up to the second position. But Paul Hahn right now, he and Blake Schock are currently on the same lap. They're 4 laps down apiece. And then Rob Toles is kind of having himself, it seems like he's having himself a fairly quiet night. He's in 4th. He's 5 laps down. He's Doc Stout currently right now. He has gotten into a couple of incidents, but it looks like he's been able to avoid catastrophe much better than some of these other guys, as Doc Stout keeps taking the lead. Heath Helton is currently in 6th, and he is on pit lane. Jason Cotterill's 7th. He's on pit lane. 12 laps, 13 laps down. Travis McKinney is 16 laps down. He's just a magnet. And right now, he is currently coming back out onto the track. Let's see if he can actually make it past the figure 8 this time. And he does, so, you know, the silver lining, he actually got past the figure 8 this time. Let's see if he does it again. And he does. Looks like so he's back up and running. So, it looks like Travis McKinney, he's 8th, but he's 16 laps down to Doc Stout. Julian Rubelo, he's 41 laps down, so he's been on pit lane for quite a while. And it looks like he's the one in the chat box down there. It says the damn fast repair doesn't work, I guess, for him or something. So what a tough break. He's got to sit there for quite a while. Quick repair, unfortunately, not working for Julian tonight. Again, a guy that started on the pole and took the early lead here. But again, it was a very early lead. It was a very early lead before traffic started being able to wrap around the center of the figure 8, becoming, you know, quite the dictator of what the results are turning out to be so far. So Doc Stout right now currently leading this thing, and you see he's got the 141, and he's also got Paul Hahn in front of him. Field spreading itself out just a little bit. Looks like things are pretty cool, calm, and collected right now with this field. Got the group of 3 right here with Doc Stout and Paul Hahn. Paul Hahn looks like he's going another lap down. So Blake Schock is now in 2nd. He's 4 laps down. Paul Hahn as well, 4 laps down. Doc Stout is just kind of got to be got to think of the mindset right now of Doc Stout. He's just got to be cruising along right now. Nothing major. And, oh, the 141 gets taken out. And a lot of smoke coming out of that modified. I believe that was Heath Helton that made contact with him, I do believe. As we take a look at this replay once again. Number 141. And that was actually the 04. The 04 of Rob Toles. I just said that he was having a fairly quiet now. What a tough break for him. He falls victim to the figure 8. Let's see if we can get on board here with Rob Toles for this replay. And he gets slammed really hard, almost in that right rear quarter. And it looks like he's able to get the car running, though. He's still able to keep the car rolling, so he may not have to use a quick repair, but he looks like hopefully he can get that thing back to pit road and get it fixed up for the most part. You see Paul Hahn now is now 5 laps down. You see that Blake Schock has fallen numerous laps down, so Paul Hahn has reclaimed that second position. Blake Schock, again, looks like he's had major contact. Again, he is the 141 car, so he has had himself an interesting night thus far. Currently holding on to that 4th position, just 6 laps down. Marcus Brown in 3rd. Marcus Brown also trying to avoid catastrophe for the most part. Is right around here with Marcus Brown. See what he sees out of his windshield. You see that he must have come down pit road fairly recently because his windscreen is nice and clean. His visor is nice and clean. He can be able to see, for the most part, be able to see as far as what the modifieds will allow. And you see that Travis McKinney again. Oh! Oh, and he gets taken out. Calamity in the figure 8 center once again. Gonna choose the TV3 here. Let's see what happens here to Marcus Brown. You see Paul Hahn and Travis McKinney down there at the bottom of the frame. They get collected. And then you see, oh, what a hard shot for Marcus Brown. And the 04 of Rob Toles. So he's definitely going to have to use a quick repair. That's going to take up some valuable time on Marcus Brown's part. Travis McKinney and Paul Hahn, who was running 2nd at the time. And Paul Hahn, I do believe, is also on pit lane. So Blake Schock is still running. Blake Schock is going to reclaim that 2nd spot. But my goodness, Doc Stout is just making it look easy. Oh, well, as soon as I say that, he runs into Heath Helton. So Doc Stout, he hits the entrance cone to pit lane. But we were just talking about how Doc Stout was just kind of sitting there, cruising around, having fun. Look at him roll through the center, and it's one of those deals where if he would have went faster, he would have went past Heath Helton. But he checked up big time through the center of the figure 8. You see a lot of cars on pit lane getting quick repairs and such. So Doc Stout, your leader, and right now he is currently on pit lane. Going over to TV number 1 here, we're going to try to focus on most exciting right now. And the most exciting here is Travis McKinney in the number 48. And now Paul Hahn in the number 7. He is currently riding behind the 141. Doc Stout looks like he's coming out of pit lane right there. He lost a couple of laps there, but again, he didn't use a quick repair. So, you know, it didn't take him a whole lot of time that he was able to get it in there and just, you know, have the crew fix it up the best that they can. And he's able to get going. He's still got a 4-lap lead on Blake Schock, who's 4 laps down. Paul Hahn is 5 laps down. Marcus Brown 6 laps down. Rob Toles is 11 laps down along with Heath Helton. Travis McKinney is moved his way up to 7th. He's 16 laps down. Jason Cotterill's 28 laps down. And Julian still, unfortunately, stuck on pit lane, I do believe. And he's 54 laps down. And John Peterson is out of the race. He is 57 laps down. So, and guys, we're just a half hour into this race. We're 34 minutes into this race. Again, my name is Dale Reynolds. We're just going to step away for a real quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're going to keep resuming this figure 8 invitational here from the Irwindale Speedway. The guys with the iRaceSims.com invitational. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're just going to leave this up and running. We're going to take a quick short break, and we will be right back. Alright everybody, welcome back to tonight's iRaceSims Invitational, the figure 8 race inside the Irwindale Speedway. My name is Dale Reynolds and I thank you guys all very much for tuning in. It has been a crazy event so far. We're 38 minutes out of the 2-hour event. Right now we're riding along, or we're focused on Paul Hahn right now. You see that Doc Stout coming back, going into break. Doc Stout still has a 4-lap lead over Blake Schock. Paul Hahn in third. And oops, there's my replay that I got on my phone for the comments. And from the comments, oh, Paul Hahn goes around. He gets the boot. Somebody just booted him going into the left-hander. And it looks like Heath Helton was responsible for that one. Jump on board here with Paul Hahn. And he just gets the boot from Heath Helton, man. There you go, short track racing at its finest. He just gets the boot from Heath Helton as he goes into the left-hander. Jump on board here with Heath Helton. Heath Helton has moved his way back up to the 5th position, showing 11 laps down to Doc Stout right now, but you see, it almost looked as though Paul Hahn maybe cut across the nose a little bit, trying to arc it in there. But I mean, at this point, who really cares? I mean, it's figure 8 racing, modified racing. I mean, it's just one of those deals, man. It's short track racing. You're trying to you get your fender, or you get your wheel under another guy's wheel. I guess since this is a modified, you kind of get wheels underneath wheels and stuff like that. But it looks like Paul Hahn went for a ride there. He's able to collect it back up and continue, but currently Doc Stout is just kind of riding around right now. I mean, he's got a nice lead, a 4-lap lead. Just take a look at how smooth Doc Stout is being right now around this racetrack. And, oh, he gets clobbered. He gets clobbered, and he's on his roof. And that's going to be something that these other guys are going to be looking forward to seeing. He's going to have to use a quick repair for that one. Let's go back and take a look at this one here. So you see Doc Stout in the 62 going through the left-hander. And it looks like right about there, he's going to run into the number 51. They kind of have a meeting of the minds right there. He and Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown and he both having to use quick repairs and tow the car back to the pits. So this is something that Blake Schock wants to see right now as Doc Stout sits on pit road. Blake Schock in at number 141. He's been running pretty consistent all race long. He's up in the 2nd spot right now. He's right behind Travis McKinney. Locks up the right front wheel going into the right-hander. Looks like he's going to try to make a move underneath Travis McKinney, and he's going to complete that move. He's got a cone stuck to his car, though. I wonder if he knows he's got a... There goes the cone. The cone, all right. Taking the cone with him just in case he ever needs it, but it got cut under the right-hand side frame of that car. He's locking it up and driving it in real hard. Showing 2 laps down right now, so he's making up that gap, and Doc Stout looks like he's back on the track there, so he did lose a couple laps right there. But he used a quick repair and got himself back out on the track. So Doc Stout, even though he was on his roof, and Blake Schock now is only showing 1 lap down, but the field has closed up on Doc Stout just a little bit right now. You see Blake Schock 2nd, Paul Hahn, Marcus Brown, and Heath Helton in the top 5. Gonna zoom it back out here and show the bigger picture of the track here. You see everything's kind of single file right now. It is pretty mellow, but you never know when that figure 8's going to come out and bite somebody. You see Paul Hahn looking to the inside of Doc Stout, going into the left-hander. Now he's going to be on the outside. He has to kind of almost concede that position. That's what makes, I guess, passing on figure 8 so tough, is because you only get one corner. You get a run on somebody on one corner, you could be better on one end of the track, and the other guy could be better on the other end of the track. So you're on the inside of the right-hander, you're going to be on the outside of him on the left-hander. So pretty tough to pass, I want to say, on a flat figure 8 like this. There is a little bit of banking, but it's not really super substantial. As you see Heath Helton making contact in the center of the figure 8 there. I don't know, who did he tag? Let's see if he tagged anybody. Obviously, it looks like he had to have tagged somebody, and that somebody was Rob. Oh, Rob Toles again. And he almost cuts in front of Paul Hahn getting going. Looks like he's able to keep the car going. Looks like he's going to pull over right there for the most part. You see Blake Schock is now still second in... He's still second right now. Let's see if we can ride along here with Blake Schock in that number 141. And see if he can actually make up time on the track compared to Doc Stout. Him driving it really deep into both ends of the track, but he's got the wheel cranked to the left and cranked to the right. Trying to do the absolute best that he can. You can see that Marcus Brown is currently in front of him, that number 51. That number 51 modified right there is currently in front of him. We're approaching the 45-minute mark right now. And, you know, these guys are putting down many, many, many laps. See if we can click on our laps tab right now. You can see that, you know, they got, you know, Blake Schock is on 77 laps right now. So, many, many laps being performed and being completed. They're laying them up, they're picking them up and laying them down as far as laps are concerned. But again, laps, you know, the name of the game really is to just survive. It's really to just survive. Tire management, that's out the window. Fuel management, that's out the window. Just survive the damn race. Just survive the race. Right now, Doc Stout is doing the best of anybody else right now. Like I said, he's got a 1-lap lead. Travis McKinney, he's been a magnet this entire race so far. We're riding on board with Travis McKinney. Let's see if he's having any real sort of luck here. He's 15 laps down, currently in the 7th position. And for a while there, Travis McKinney, it seemed like Travis McKinney would get hit. He'd have to use a quick repair, go back to the pit lane, and I swear he came out of pit lane and went through the figure 8 the first time and got clocked again. So Travis McKinney getting run over from all sorts of different directions. He's been definitely getting run over quite a bit. You see him slide through these corners here, and he's heavy on the gas. See him heavy on the gas going straight. Slows it down this time going into the left-hander. But you saw him do a nice little power slide through the right-hander. So, and, oh, there he is. There it is again. Travis McKinney. And see if he can keep the car running. It's not running. He's going to have to tow that thing back to pit lane. What a tough break. And he runs into the 141 of Blake Schock. And Blake Schock, I do believe that Blake Schock, he's able to keep the car running. Maybe. No. Unfortunately, is he able? It looks like he was able to. But you see, riding on board with Blake Schock here. And he just kind of gets shunted out of the way. Just kind of gets shunted out of the track. And looks like he's going to be able to get it into pit lane. A hard hit like that, I'm pretty sure Blake Schock didn't even realize where he was at that point. But now Paul Hahn. Paul Hahn is still on the track, and it looks like it could be Paul Hahn's opportunity to take that second spot. And it looks like he does take that second spot away from Blake Schock. So now Paul Hahn, 2 laps down in the 2nd position. And you see Marcus Brown in that number 51 right directly in front of him. Riding along with the TV screen, we're going to eliminate the UI so you guys can enjoy the full screen coverage here. Again, this awesome Irwindale Speedway, the figure 8. I don't know about you guys, but this is a blast to watch right here. It's not exactly a big field like you would see in most like NASCAR races and such. You know, most NASCAR races are 40+ competitors. But even a small field like this, and this was just 10 people that entered into this race, but you know that this track being as small as it is with an intersecting, you know, intersecting figure 8, it's just, it can be madness. It can be madness as you see one of the guys coming off of pit lane. He's rejoining the race. And we've got a car upside down here on the front straightaway. Take a look and see who that was. Got a car upside down. Do believe that that is... We're going to take a look here. See, somebody was upside down. And it was Julian. It was Julian. So, man, Julian having a terrible luck. He was the one coming out of pit lane. And he didn't even make it past the first time he had to get back through. Just, oh, man. Intersecting there with, I believe that was Jason Cotterill. I do believe that was Jason Cotterill that he hit. Let's take a freeze frame of hit real quick. And no, I do believe that was Heath Helton. Yes, Heath Helton. And he gets shunted onto the main straightaway. And you hear the explosion right there. So he's going to have to use a quick repair. Another tough break for Heath Helton as well, man. He's just been getting hit all over the place tonight. Gonna get back live here with Doc Stout, your race leader, 48 minutes into this event of this 2-hour race. So we're approaching halfway already. Approaching halfway to this event already. And the results really still fairly close, considering that any moment now somebody could come across that center of that figure eight and take you out and make you have to use a quick repair. And that could definitely cost you at least a few laps. So Doc Stout still currently riding around. He gets a little loose off that left-hander. He's able to keep it straight, though. You see Paul Hahn directly in front of him. Paul Hahn 2 laps down, trying not to go a 3rd lap down. And you see a lot of smoke out of the 141 of Blake Schock there. So Blake Schock going a 3rd lap down now as he heads into pit lane. And you see, wow, Marcus Brown zooming by on the center of that figure eight. Doc Stout is just being as smooth as possible right now. He would like to put, I'm pretty sure he would like to put Paul Hahn a lap down on the racetrack. Oh, and he just slides. He barely is able to make it through, but he avoids contact right there, and that's the sort of thing that is got him in the lead so far. He's been able to stay out of trouble for the most part. That sort of thing right there is what has him able to lead. And again, here in iRacing, you know, you got a lot of guys that can use, you know, they can look left or they can look right, but it is still very difficult because these these Whelen Modifieds, they're very tough to see out of. They're very tough to see out of. So they can look left, they can look right. It's not that they can just keep looking straight like we're looking at it right now. So he has the ability to look left and right, but he still has to make that quick judgment call. These guys are going pretty fast. Has to make that quick judgment call in order to not get hit. Take a ride on board here with Paul Hahn and Blake Schock. Oh, very close right there as we cut in on Blake Schock. My goodness, and that was Marcus Brown right there. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was Doc Stout, the leader. Almost getting taken out right there. Very exciting, very, very exciting, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate that you guys are all tuning in once again. And this thing's very fun. If you guys, hope you guys are enjoying this right now as much as I am. I gotta pull up my live comments here. Let's check in on some of the live comments here. Just Pull Barn Burners and then The Mythic Gaming. Hello to The Mythic Gaming. Just figure 8 isn't for me. Looks like Barradess. I do apologize if I mess that up a little bit, but Barradess, I do believe if I'm going to assume correctly, Barradess, I believe is Julian Rubelo. Julian Rubelo is 100 laps down. Currently in 9th position. I do believe Julian Rubelo, he is also disconnected, so he is officially done and out of this race. What a tough break. But thank you for tuning into the stream. However, though, we do appreciate that. Having a lot of fun here. Doc Stout still showing 2 laps ahead of Paul Hahn. But right now that is going down right now. Is, well, maybe not going down, but they're maintaining right now. You see Paul Hahn has gotten out a little bit in front of Doc Stout from the last time that we checked in. But Blake Schock in 3rd is now 5 laps down. And you see Doc Stout checking up a little bit in the center of that. That center of that figure 8 right there, and he's just checking up ever so slightly. Marcus Brown up to, whoa, and Doc Stout hard hit on the driver's side. And you see it happens just that fast, but he elects not to come into pit lane. That car has got to be bent up. That was a hard shot. going back and taking a look at it from the TV perspective, and it is Marcus Brown that got into Doc Stout. So what a hard hit. And Marcus Brown is able to also, looks like he's able to keep running, but no, maybe he's not able to keep running. Look at the damage to the nose of that modified. He's going to have to use another quick repair as Doc Stout is able to keep running. And that's the kind of thing right there. Doc Stout, yeah, he's got some damage on that car. But you know what? If it's still running, even if it's not maybe not handling right, it's still better to keep running at a slower pace than it is to maybe pit and use that quick repair. 53.5 minutes. We're approaching halfway here, and you look at the right front tire in Doc Stout's car. Again, these guys are able to tweak the setups as much as possible, so it looks like Doc Stout, that right front tire is starting to pop up just a little bit, coming off of the right-hander. And you see that Blake Schock is in pursuit behind him, but these results right now, Doc Stout still 2 laps ahead. You see Marcus Brown is now 12 laps down after the contact there with Doc Stout. Rob Toles is going to be trying to look to take that position as he is out on the track right now. Swings way wide coming off of the left-hander. Rob Toles might be trying to take this 4th position here if Marcus Brown does not, and Marcus Brown looks like he is rolling. And he's going to come out of pit lane, but not before Rob Toles, who takes that 4th position away. Marcus Brown now showing 13 laps down. Heath Helton showing 14 laps down. Travis McKinney 29 laps down to Doc Stout. He is currently in the 7th position, and looks like Marcus Brown has had trouble in the figure 8 once again. Let's take a look back and see what we can find here with Marcus Brown. Using the TV angle here. And he and Heath Helton get together. Oh, and Heath goes skipping over. Oh my goodness, Heath Helton. What a ride. Dude, Heath Helton has got to be the guy that's taking the wildest rides tonight. Let's go on the cockpit with Heath Helton. And it looks like that was Doc Stout right there. And at number 62, he got taken out, looks like, with Paul Hahn. And look at that. Hit and skips over. And is tumbling down the front straightaway. What a wild ride and a wild night for Heath Helton. Let's take a look at this again. There he goes, and he gets hit, and Doc Stout's car happened to be parked right there. You see Paul Hahn. Parallel parking, anybody? Paul Hahn and Heath Helton both now have to use quick repairs. And what a huge, huge crash on Heath Helton right there. So that's definitely not going to help his chances trying to get back up to the front. You see Doc Stout is coming out of pit lane. Blake Schock has now retaken the 2nd position after Paul Hahn also got crashed. Let's see if we can rewind and see what happened to Paul Hahn, because Paul Hahn also got some heavy damage and was sitting there. I do believe he got into it with Doc Stout. And that's exactly what happened. A hard shot to the driver's side. He got shunted out of the figure 8 and onto the main track. And he's just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden Heath is flipping in his mirror and parks right next to him. And he's just like, hey, what's up, dude? What's up, man? How you doing? Did you park here? Yeah, I'm parking here too. Yeah, we kind of kidding just a little bit right now, but those guys are... I mean, that's kind of... This race is pretty wild here. We're approaching the halfway mark. And this is pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy to say the least. You see that Doc Stout is still... He is coming out of pit lane. You see that Blake Schock has now... I believe that may have been for the lead right there. Because Blake Schock is on the lead lap. And now it looks like we may have a contender for the lead. There's Doc Stout going around the left-hander and going through the center of the figure 8. Time has updated. Blake Schock is now just 7.2 seconds. So now he is in target and in sight of Doc Stout for this lead. And that's how fast that a figure 8 and the troubles that a figure 8 track can come up with. It evens the score. It evens the score very quickly as we take the nice wide panoramic view here of this figure 8. Blake Shock right now. You see Doc Stout right there going through the figure 8. And I believe he has made contact with the 04. Ooh, and very close right there with Travis McKinney. Gonna take a look back here. I do believe that was Doc Stout involved. And it was Doc Stout with the 04 of Rob Toles. And Doc Stout. And it looks like Doc Stout finally is gonna have to use a quick repair to get back to not to victory lane, but to pit lane. Wow. And the race has now changed as Blake Shock has now taken the lead from Doc Stout. New race leader right before the halfway point. Doc Stout has dominated pretty much this first half of the race. And now Blake Shock is now your new leader as we approach the 59-minute mark. Again, approaching halfway. Doc Stout now showing 1 lap down, and Paul Hahn is 2 laps down. Paul Hahn's still out there running. It looks like Paul Hahn, aside from that incident there that he had with, I do believe it was Doc Stout that he had that most recent incident with, is Paul Hahn now takes the 2nd position. Doc Stout has now fallen back to 3rd. He is still on pit lane. Doc Stout, he is disconnected. He is out of the race. Doc Stout, the person who has dominated the first half of this event, he is now out of the race, and he is going to wind up with an 8th place finish. What a tough break for Doc Stout. He is now out of this race. Tough break for Doc Stout. He's dominated the first half of this race, and now Blake Shock now looking to do what Doc Stout was able to do for the first half of this race. Look at him checking up, avoiding the figure 8 there. Here we are. We are now 58, 59, halfway officially, 1 hour into this event. And how many laps has he completed? It looks like Blake Shock right now has completed about 77 laps. So, whew, man, that first half was pretty exciting. Doc Stout dominating that first half. But here we are now in the second half of this event. And it's completely changed the game now that Doc Stout is out of this race. It's right on board here with Blake Shock in the number 141 modified. You hear him. Doc Stout, man, he had such a good run going. Up to, I think at one point was it 5 laps ahead. Oh! Almost contact there. I did hear some contact. Heath Helton did get some contact out of that. Just barely. Oh, he got hit hard on that right rear corner, and he's almost out of the figure 8 track, but he's able to keep going. So that's a good thing. Heath Helton able to keep the thing going here. But riding on board now with Blake Shock. Let's take a look and see what he sees out of the front of his vehicle here. Riding on board. You hear him checking up out of the throttle. You can see that. You see Rob Torres right there. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yep, Rob Toles. Excuse me. He had checked up going through there and looked like Blake Shock was also checking up, but Blake Shock saw him check up. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, do I go? Do I not go? One of those quick decisions that you got to make, especially when you're intersecting here at the figure 8. So unbelievable. As we pull up our results right now, you see that Doc Stout still being listed in 3rd position. Okay, he falls back to 4th, and he's going to fall back to 5th here now that Marcus Brown and Rob Tolez are on the same lap, quote-unquote, as Doc Stout is. Doc Stout, again, is going to wind up here in probably an 8th place finish. That is if Jason Cotterill can't get back going and try to at least stay out of it. He's still on pit lane right now, so Jason Cotterill still having to use a hefty repair time to get back out into this race. 101 laps down. Travis McKinney currently 24 laps down in the 7th position. Heath Helton has overcome a lot of hard hits tonight, but he's in the 5th position right now. I'm pretty sure if he didn't get hit any more times tonight, that would be great. But of course, you know, wishes are really not much of anything, especially when you're running at a figure 8. You really can't, you know, can't bank on not getting hit. I mean, you are going to get hit, and everybody in this field has gotten hit hard in this race. So Paul Hahn right now still showing in the 2nd position. He is just 2 laps down, so you know that if Blake Schock finds any trouble right now, that Paul Hahn will be ready to pounce. Going back up to the TV number 3 here, we're going to eliminate the user interface and take a look at everything. A lot of the cones have been destroyed tonight. You can see that they do actually, in iRacing, they do reappear after a certain amount of time. But cones are being taken out. You see Travis McKinney hitting some cones. And contact right there with Travis McKinney. And I believe that was Heath Helton. They have a meeting of the minds once again. Taking a look here, see if we can pull up Travis McKinney. Going on board with Travis McKinney here. And gets slammed in the right rear quarter by Heath Helton as well. And just like what we were talking about just a few minutes ago with Heath Helton, like I said, pretty sure he would like to not get hit anymore, but my goodness, he and Travis McKinney, again, they have another meeting of the minds right here, and it looks like Heath Helton is going to pull it into the pits along with Travis McKinney. They're not going to use their tow. They're not going to use one of their freebies there, so it'll save them a little bit of time to try and just repair those vehicles. What we're going to do, guys, we're just going to take another quick, short break here. Again, Dale Reynolds Gaming proud to bring you guys live coverage of tonight's iRaceSims Invitational, the figure 8 here at Irwindale Speedway. Again, my name is Dale Reynolds. I thank you guys for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to take a short little break, and we're going to be right back to this figure 8 race here at the Irwindale Speedway. We got just a little shade, about 54 minutes left in this event. Right now, Blake Schock, your leader, with Paul Hahn just 2 laps down in 2nd. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Alright everybody, welcome back to tonight's iRaceSims, the Invitational here at the Irwindale Speedway. Dale Reynolds in the booth with you guys. You guys do notice the track. Take a look at this track, and here in iRacing with the progressive track, you see that the track has rubbered in pretty well, and a lot of the guys on the radio right now saying that the cars are actually changing handling characteristics. Wow, very close right there with Blake Schock. Blake Schock is still your leader just an hour and 10 minutes into this, so just a little under 50, coming to 49 minutes left to go here in this event. And the track is changing. You see the track is rubbering in very, very nicely. Cars are starting to have a little bit more grip. Guys are able to push the envelope just a little bit more now that the rubber has been laid down onto this figure 8. Look at the comparison of the rubber that's being laid down on the figure 8 versus what is actually on the Irwindale Speedway. And that is a very stark difference right there. Rubber being laid down, changing the handling of these cars. Who knows? Things have gotten themselves pretty tame for the most part. And you can see right now that Jason Cotterill is still on pit lane. He is currently showing in 7th, 125 laps down. Doc Stout, unfortunately, has now moved down. He is out of the race, but he is currently showing in the 7th position. Jason Cotterill is in 8th right now. But right now, the gap still has not changed a whole lot. Blake Schock is still 2 laps in front of Paul Hahn. Marcus Brown has moved his way up to the 3rd position. However, he is 12 laps behind. Heath Helton has moved up to 4th, 15 laps behind. He and Rob Tolez are currently running on the same lap, so they're fighting for that 4th position. Travis McKinney 27 laps down in the 6th position. So things are starting to get just maybe a little bit more tame right now, just a little bit more tame. Obviously, we only have 6 cars that are on the track right now. 7 still running in this event. Oh, close right there. So close. Oh, man. Good racing here. Looks like Heath Helton is going to get around of Blake Schock. He's going to take one of his laps back. You see Paul Hahn in the number 7 right behind Heath. Or excuse me, not right behind Heath, but he's right behind Blake Schock right now. And you got to believe that, in contact with Travis McKinney and Heath Helton. Another meeting of the minds. My goodness. Take a look back. Take a look at this action here. Travis McKinney hit hard on the right rear quarter from Heath Helton. Take a look on board here with Travis McKinney. Coming through the figure 8 and just gets wrecked in the right rear quarter. And once again, it looks like, he's just going to miss the turn right there, but looks like he's going to just loop it back around. Thankfully, he's able to keep the car going. He doesn't have to use one of his toes. And he gets turned around by Blake Schock. What is... Oh, wow. And it looks like he tried to come back in front of Blake Schock. Take a look here on board with Blake Schock. And he just... Oh, man. He gets turned around by Blake Schock. Take a look at this once again without the user interface in the way. But... here's Travis McKinney trying to get mowed down. You see Blake Schock trying to keep it turned down, and just they collide. They just collide, and that's something that Blake Schock doesn't want. He doesn't want, he does not want to get collected with cars that, especially Travis McKinney being as many laps down as he is. He's just trying not to hit anybody, So, and especially he's got Paul Hahn right behind him, and I believe Paul Hahn he's trying to take one of his laps back. Paul Hahn is working very hard to try and unlap himself and get to 1 lap down. And Paul Hahn definitely working very hard, trying to get around him fairly cleanly. You see Heath Helton coming back out onto the track. And it almost looks as though he's got him clear. Nope, he doesn't have him clear quite yet. Maybe a crossover move here. Maybe the bumper. Nope. Not quite the bumper. But these guys running 1 and 2 right now. You see Paul Hahn right there with Blake Schock. And Paul Hahn, you got to believe that he's going to try and race him pretty hard here, because he's going to want to take one of those laps back. See the cones consistently being annihilated almost every corner by these guys. And of course, here in iRacing, the cones do come back after a certain amount of time. So there will be cones aplenty. Oh, and Paul Hahn gets taken out by Heath Helton. Oh, and that's not going to be good for Paul Hahn. He has to use a tow, and that is going to cost him valuable time on the track. What a tough break for Paul Hahn as he and Heath Helton. Heath Helton once again finding trouble in the intersection right there. Riding on board with Paul Hahn. He's just kind of riding. Oh! And you hear right there the engine blows up, so he's going to have to use a tow in order to get back to pit lane. Right on board here with Heath Helton. And just, oh man, nowhere to go. Looks like Heath Helton is able to keep the car running. Although you see, look at how badly that car is crab walking. He's able to get it back into pit lane, so he's not going to have to use a tow, so that's going to save him just a little bit of time. But still a tough break, man, especially for Paul Hahn running second and trying his absolute best. And we got more smoke over here, catching back up with everybody. Gonna take a look here at Blake Schock. I do believe he is coming onto pit lane now. He's had contact with Heath Helton again. Heath Helton taking out the leaders, dare I say. But the difference between Blake Schock and Paul Hahn is Paul Hahn had to use his tow, and that's going to cost him some time. Blake Schock is able to bring the car into pit lane himself, so the crew is just going to be able to do what they need to do, change tires, repair the damage. As you can see, numerous cars on pit lane right now. Paul Hahn 3 laps down. Looks like Paul Hahn has rejoined the race. Marcus Brown having himself, I guess you want to say, a fairly quiet night. I mean, everybody's getting hit. Everybody's, you know, going which way or the other. But right now, Marcus Brown, as of late, having himself a fairly quiet night. Kind of running around in the 3rd position. He's 13 laps down. Let's ride on board here with Marcus. Not pushing the car too hard. Looks like he's chewing up the tires on the right-handers a little bit. You hear the tires screeching. You hear the tires screeching a lot more on the right-handers than they are the left-handers. So obviously his car not handling well in the right-handers as much as the left-hander side. And again, with these Whelen Modifieds, they're built to go left. They're even staggered. They're built that way to take left-hand corners. So he is currently riding around in the 3rd position. And he is just kind of riding around right now, kind of biding his time. As you see, Blake Schock is now back on the track, but Paul Hahn has now just 1 lap down. So after calamity has hit both of these drivers, Paul Hahn is actually going to get the better end of the deal of the two. He's now just 1 lap down instead of 2 before everything transpired between them. And Paul Hahn driving it hard, very hard, trying to get this thing. He wants to try and race Blake Schock for this lead. We are now 1 hour and 18 minutes down out of this 2-hour event. Coming up on 40 minutes left to go. And you see the number of laps that these guys have run. Blake Schock is 196 laps around this figure 8. And he slides in the right-hander. He makes a little contact with the wall in the right-hander. Don't know if that's going to damage anything, or if that's really going to affect any kind of performance right now. But these guys are just having a blast. They're on the radio right now, and they're on the TeamSpeak channel, and they're just having a blast right now. And so are we. We're having a blast broadcasting this race. I hope you guys are also enjoying what we're bringing to you. Everything looks very, very exciting. But never thought it would have ended up quite as crazy as it has been. Again, running through your leaderboards right now, Blake Schock is in the lead. He's got 198, 199 now laps in the books here. 1 hour and 20 minutes in. Paul Hahn currently running in the 2nd position. He is 1 lap down. And you know that if anything happens to Blake Schock, he is going to pounce. You know that Paul Hahn is going to pounce on that mistake if he runs into anybody. Marcus Brown in third right now, and you see he and Rob Tolez are kind of battling for position. They're both on the same lap right now. He and Rob Tolez are battling for the third position. Heath Helton is 17 laps down, showing in the 5th position and is running on the track. Travis McKinney in 6th. He is 26 laps down. Doc Stout, unfortunately, is out of the race after having dominated the first half of this event. And we got a nice little cool shot here right at the intersection of the figure 8. Jason Cotterill still on pit lane, 147 laps down. He's still officially being listed in the race. He has not dropped out yet. Julian Rubelot is currently out of the race. He is in 9th position. And John Peterson, 177 laps down, dead last on the field. And again, Doc Stout right now. We have heavy smoke coming out of one of the drivers. Take a look here, and that is Heath Helton. So Heath Helton, once again, having difficulties here. His car is smoking big time as he heads into pit lane, and I do believe that is Travis McKinney as well on pit lane. I wonder if these guys had another meeting of the minds. These two have run into each other, I think, together more often than any other tag team combo tonight, and they have run into each other again. Travis McKinney just shunted off the track. He's able to keep it running, but he's pulled it into the pits. So, wow. Those guys are having meeting of the minds. Those guys definitely have to be the admins of this league because they're just meeting each other way too often. The two guys that are just running into each other more often than any other combo than I have seen here in this event tonight. Gonna take a little, not gonna take a break, but let's take a look at here some of the scenery that we've clicked on Doc Stout right now, but you can see that the scenic views of this track, you see that these guys, and I love the camera here right at the intersection of the figure 8. Close contact, close right there. You see that Marcus Brown and Rob Tolez are still fighting. You see them coming to the center off of the left-hander. You see, oh no, and the leader is taken out. And he's going to take the left-hand turn onto pit lane. Oh no, Blake Schock in trouble, and this is what Paul Hahn is going to have to feed off of. He is on pit lane right now, but it looks like Paul Hahn as well has got some smoke coming out of his car. Unless that might be Rob Tolez. I confuse the two. They both have red vehicles. I do believe, I do apologize, I spoke too soon. That is Rob Tolez who made contact with Blake Schock, and you can see it right there. Blake Schock on pit lane. Leader change. An hour and 23 minutes into the event. Paul Hahn is now the leader of this event in that number 7 modified. So the leader now, Paul Hahn. Blake Schock is now running off of pit lane. He is 1 lap down now, unfortunately. So Paul Hahn, your new leader here, 1 hour and 24 minutes into this event. Again, a 2-hour race. You see that Paul Hahn has now completed 208 laps here at this figure 8. Blake Schock has got to be kicking himself right now. He made contact with Rob Tolez. They kind of had a meeting of the minds. Let's go see if we can rewind here really fast and take a look at what happened here between he and Rob Tolez. Coming through the center intersection right there and going through the right-hander. And you're going to notice he's going to stop, and he's going to roll, and he's going to stop. Do apologize. We're going to roll back here just a little bit further. Getting our replays all straightened up here. Do apologize about that. But you're going to see it here eventually. that he is going to stop, and Rob Toles is just going to run. They're going to have a meeting of the minds. They're going to run into each other, and that is what cost Blake Shock the lead of this event. We're going to fast forward here now back live. And our results are thus that Paul Hahn is still leading this event. Blake Shock, Marcus Brown, Rob Toles, and Heath Helton, your top 5. But everybody is on pit lane. Gonna take a look back and see what we can see here. Looks almost as though Paul Hahn has gotten himself into some trouble. You see everybody kind of bunched up right here. They're going through. They're going to come through. And Heath Helton and Marcus Brown. Oh my goodness. The front 4 all together right there. What a tough break. Paul Hahn has now claimed the lead. But just about as quick as he gained it, he lost it. And it looked like that he got loose off of the right-hander and nowhere to go. They all stack up behind him. What a tough break, and oh man, wildness here coming to the final half hour of this event. Gonna watch this one more time. Paul Hahn, he gets loose, he breaks it loose, he spins into Heath Helton, and Marcus with nowhere to go. Oh wow, collecting those guys. What a tough break. They're all able to roll into pit lane so they don't have to use a tow. But going back forward here, and we are now caught back up. Blake Shock has now retaken the lead after the misfortunes there with Paul Hahn. Man, I'm out of breath trying to commentate this race. It's just been, you know, you can see that the results change very, very frequently, and there's always so much action going on here on the track that it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy to keep up here. Blake Shock has retaken the lead. And he's got about a 15-second lead over Paul Hahn. So Paul Hahn not quite a lap down yet. He's still in it. See that Blake Shock is racing side by side with Marcus in that number 51 modified. Gonna back up over the TV. Number 3 will eliminate the UI. And, oh, very close with Heath Helton and Marcus going through the intersection. The track is still rubbering up very, very nicely, though. These modifieds leaving a lot of grip and a lot of rubber down there on the track. Again, handling characteristics changing ever so slightly throughout this event. Oh, so close once again. Gotta go back and look at that onboard. Very close right there with the 04. Oh, but they all make it through. And that's the part that it matters the most. As you see smoke right there. And very close again. Look at him stop going into this intersection. And I do believe that is Paul Hahn once again with his car smoking. Coming into pit lane. Let's take a look what happens here to Paul Hahn, our second place runner. Again, coming through this intersection here. He and Marcus have meeting of the minds. They have an argument over which parking spot they wanted. And Marcus blows up, so he's going to have to use a tow to get back to pit lane. Paul Hahn, another tough break. He had recaptured the lead for all of maybe a minute, and then he lost it. So another tough break for Paul Hahn there. He's in pit road, and now he's showing 2 laps down. We're back live, and he is coming out of pit lane now. So Blake Shock, as we enter now, coming to the final half hour of this event. And it looks like Blake Shock, he's 3 laps now ahead of Paul Hahn. Very close contact, very close right there. He knocks a cone over going into the right-hander. But he's holding on to it right now. And you can see how he's looking. You could tell that he is looking out to the left and out to the right to see if there's anybody coming. It's a good strategy. Doc Stout, again, dominated the first hour of this race, the first half of this race, implementing the same strategy. So it seems to be working. You know, that kind of strategy definitely seems to help quite a bit. If you, even though you really can't see a whole lot out of these modifieds, you can still see somewhat and be able to make you know, at least a judgment call. And Paul Hahn once again is on pit lane with smoke coming out of the car. Paul Hahn is having terrible luck here as we enter the last half hour. See what happens to Paul Hahn here. Oh, he and Marcus once again having a meeting of the minds. Marcus, we were just talking about Marcus having a fairly quiet night as of, you know, more recently, but he and Paul Hahn again. Oh, what a tough break for Paul Hahn and both of him as well, because Marcus Brown has now dropped back to the 5th position with all those troubles. He was up to 3rd. Rob Toles is now up to 3rd. He's showing 14 laps down. Heath Helton has moved his way up to the 4th position after being as far as 9th place and many laps down in this event. He's up to 4th now. So a good, I want to say a fairly solid recovery for Heath Helton. He and Travis McKinney have been best friends, arguing over the same parking spot here at this figure 8. Numerous times they've run into each other. But he has recovered nicely. He is up to the 4th position. Travis McKinney has moved his way up to 6th. He is still 25 laps down. So it's gonna take a miracle, I believe, for Travis McKinney to be able to have any kind of shot here. Paul Hahn is just now coming back out onto the racetrack. He's 6 laps down, and that is gonna be quite the gap to try to overcome here as we're now into the final 28 minutes of this event. It's going to be quite something to overcome. Paul Hahn getting loose off of the right hand corner. Paul Hahn is definitely going to need a big mistake out of Blake Schock in order to get back up there and challenge for this win. Paul Hahn again, as you take a look on the gyro cam here, right on board with Paul Hahn here with this gyro camera as he's clearing out the you know, the cones there that are on that left-hander. The gyro cam is always pretty cool. You're kind of riding on board with Paul Hahn here in the passenger seat. It's almost as if you're a passenger in this event, riding along with Paul Hahn. And you can see that Blake Schock is directly in front of him. But again, a terrible break for Paul Hahn, man. He just, you know, he had the lead. He was 2 laps down behind Blake Schock for the longest time. Blake Schock finally had a misfortune, and they both kind of had misfortunes at the same time, but ended up having it to where he gained the lead. And I think Paul Hahn had the lead for maybe a grand total of like a minute and a half before he had his multiple runs of bad luck, which has now put him 6 laps down behind Blake Schock. Rob Toles has kind of moved his way back up to the 3rd position. He is showing 14 laps down. And if Blake Schock can hold everything together right now for the final, you know, 25 minutes of this race, you know, right now, a lot of these laps right now, Paul Hahn may, I think, still have a shot here if Blake Schock runs into any trouble. But it looks almost as though Blake Schock is kind of taking it easy right now. I mean, Paul Hahn did gain 1 lap. It looked almost as though he gained 1 lap on him. You see, he's still right behind there, so it must be having... Oh! He runs into the back of a big wreck in the intersection! A big wreck in the intersection right there, which Blake Schock was involved. Take a look at this replay here, ladies and gentlemen, see what we can find. And you see, oh, he and Travis and Marcus as well, all involved here. Oh, and this might change the complexity of this event. Look at this replay here. You can see that Blake Schock is trying hard to stop. Paul Hahn does not get it in time. It's not that Paul Hahn was trying to intentionally push him. He just didn't have a chance to check up. He pushes him, and Travis McKinney, hard shot. And Marcus as well, just, ugh. Those guys all taken out right there. So Blake Schock, the one mistake that he did not want to see, Paul Hahn has now moved his way up to 2 laps down. And Blake Schock is in pit lane. We're going to ride on board. We're going to take another quick ride on board with some of these guys. Let's ride on board here with Travis McKinney. Oh, man. And he just, that's the worst kind of shot. I mean, we've seen some pretty spectacular wrecks tonight, but that is the one kind of shot that hurts. You hit something and you come to a dead stop. That's the kind of shot that hurts. So Travis McKinney, again, nowhere to go, just colliding there in the middle of the figure 8. Tough break and a big, could very well be a complexion-changing race, or a complexion-changing event right there, as we are now moving back live. Blake Schock is back. He's pulling back out onto the racetrack. He's pulling back into pit lane, it looks almost as though. So let's see if we can see what happens here to Blake Schock. Kind of riding behind Paul Hahn right now. Paul Hahn, again, showing just 2 laps down. So he is in contention right now. If Blake Schock, if there's another mistake like that, he is in contention. Looks like Blake Schock is coming into pit lane voluntarily. And it looks like we did miss a little bit of contact right there. Let's take a look here on board. And you see the guys have spun around here. Marcus and Paul Hahn have spun around. And I do apologize. That is Rob right there. And oh, Paul Hahn trying to get straightened out. Let's see what we can find here with Paul Hahn. Trying very hard to try and keep up with everything that is happening right now. But it looks like Paul Hahn kind of comes out of turn. He gets turned by Marcus there. And then he's just trying to get turned around and nowhere for Blake Schock to go. So the 2 leaders having a meeting of the minds. Once again. Once again, having a meeting of the minds here in the middle of the, coming towards the end of this race. So we're going to fast forward here and we're going to get back to live. And there we are, back live. Blake Schock still in the lead after that little bit of a, a little bit of a cluster right there. Coming up on 20 minutes left to go in this event. Blake Schock still holding it down in the lead. Paul Hahn in second, 2 laps down, and I do believe he's still got a chance. The time running out right now. Rob Toles is in third, but he is being shown 10 laps down. So I do believe with the time running out, he can still get it done if, if Blake Schock and Paul Hahn both run into some serious trouble. But I do believe that right now, if barring any other major incident, Rob Toles and Marcus Brown, Heath Helton, those guys are probably out of contention right now. So I do believe, if my predictions will be correct, it's going to come down to Blake Schock and Paul Hahn. So stay tuned, everybody. I mean, this race is definitely not over yet. We got 21 minutes left in this event. Going back over here to Blake Schock as we get the panoramic view of this figure 8 once again. See the group of Heath Helton, Travis McKinney all running together there along with Rob. Right now, if this was oval racing, Blake Schock would be in a perfect position. He does not have anybody around him, in front of him, or in back of him. If it was oval racing, we talk about it in oval racing in American Stock Car quite often. He's in that little happy place right now. Doesn't really have anybody directly in front of him, doesn't have anybody behind him. He can just kind of run his own pace. He's not being hampered by anybody else. But unfortunately, this is a figure 8. Take that statement and throw it out the window, because again, with an intersecting figure 8 like this, it doesn't matter if there's nobody behind you or nobody in front of you. All you're really hoping for is that nobody is going to be coming up on you when you hit that intersection. So man, it is tough to try and keep up with all the action here tonight. I do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this here. Such a great race. It's been a very entertaining race so far, to say the least. And you see him checking up right there. You see that right there. Rob Toles is checked up, and they got a nice group right there. Let's check in on this group right here. You see that Travis McKinney and, among others, Heath Helton loose off of the right-hander, but he gets it going, and Paul Hahn has gone around. Paul Hahn going around, and it looks, oh, he gets clipped by Blake Schock. A nice avoidance right there with Travis McKinney, but Paul Hahn is now on pit road again. Looks like he got hit pretty significantly. Gonna ride on board here with Paul Hahn. And he did. He got hit pretty significantly right at the tail of the vehicle. Right almost where the bumper bar is. So, unfortunately, another tough break for Paul Hahn as he, just trying to ride it out. He's still trying to stay in contention. They didn't have much damage to fix, so it doesn't lose a whole lot of time. But he's back out now, and he's showing 3 laps down now to Blake Schock. 4 laps down now, to Blake Schock. Rob Toles is just 6 laps behind. So if Paul Hahn keeps having the bad luck he's having here at the tail end of this race, Rob Toles could very easily come and try and take the second position away from him. Blake Schock once again kind of running all by himself. He does have Heath Helton in front of him. Heath Helton showing 5th right now. He and Marcus Brown are on the same lap. So you see Heath Helton right there going through the right-hander, and right now Marcus Brown is going through the left-hander, going through the intersection. So Heath Helton's about a full corner behind, and we have more trouble going into the right-hander. That is Travis McKinney. Travis McKinney finding trouble all over the place tonight. It's been a rough night for Travis McKinney, I gotta say. It's been a very rough night for Travis. Let's take a look here and see what happened. This one, he just goes around entirely on his own. He keeps it off the wall, so that's a good thing. But it looked like he just tried to get back into the gas, and look at him slide that car. He's just trying to get back into the gas going straight. He just spun those rear wheels. He couldn't get the rear wheels hooked up, and he just spun out going into the right-hander. So no contact this time. That one was entirely just a self-spin. But it looks like he's able to keep going. As we go back live here, riding on board with Blake Schock, your current leader, as we have just 17 minutes left to go in this event. Paul Hahn 4 laps down. Rob Toles very close right there in front. Rob Toles in 3rd. Marcus Brown 4th, and Heath Helton 5th. Marcus Brown and Heath Helton looks like I don't know. It looks like Marcus Brown is starting to pull away just ever so slightly over Heath Helton. But again, pulling away in lap times, not really the biggest difference maker right now, because these guys are just doing what they have to do to stay out of crashes. Just try and stay out of crashes. We're going to pull up this panoramic view once again of this figure 8. Kind of keep a tab on everybody, and that's, I guess, the nice part about this particular camera view, is that you're following one driver, but you kind of have a shot of almost the whole track in one sight. So maybe not missing as much of the action as Heath Helton hits the wall on the right-hand corner there. He's able to keep it going, though, and you see the leader, Blake Schock, right behind him. And Blake Schock is just probably just saying, please, please don't wreck. Please don't do anything to get me in trouble. As far as laps are concerned, you see that Blake Schock, again, still your leader. 259 laps here around this figure 8. And we're coming up on 15 minutes left in this event. Guys have run a lot of laps here tonight at this small little figure 8. Again, iRaceSims, the Invitational, the Open Invitational here, the figure 8 configuration at Irwindale Speedway. Here on iRacing, the Whelen Modified. And it has been an interesting race so far. Again, to kind of recap, you got Julian Rubilo, who started on the pole alongside of Heath Helton. Heath Helton immediately finding trouble and fell back through the pack, and pretty much has been trying to claw his way up through the field since then. In the early going, Julian Rubilo as well, he also found trouble early, and Doc Stout took the lead. Doc Stout took the lead and dominated the first half of this event, the first hour, until he ran into multiple issues at the intersection, and unfortunately, I guess very, very frustrated, understandably so. Frustrated with how the race was going out, and unfortunately too much damage, did not feel like running anymore, so he parked it, and he is now being shown in 7th position. And with just 14 minutes left, I do believe that standings will not shift for him anymore. Jason Cotterill is still being active. He's not DNF'd yet, but he has not really run any laps in the last half of this race, so looks like Doc Stout will probably come home here with a 7th place finish. We got a nice little gaggle of cars over here. Let's check in here. Travis McKinney leading this gaggle right now. And you can see that Marcus is right behind him, very close going through the intersection once again. Gotta wonder if you think that maybe mental fatigue is starting to set in on some of these drivers. I mean, they have been going at it now for an hour and 46 minutes. They're turning a ton of laps, very close right there. But these guys have been turning an absolute ton of laps. You gotta wonder if mental fatigue is maybe starting to set in. And with that mental fatigue, it can cause you to have maybe a lapse in judgment, even for a split second trying to go through that intersection. Just mental fatigue, just, you know, to make a mistake going through that intersection. You see all these cars here racing kind of together in a gaggle right now. I do believe the only car running by himself is the number 7 of Paul Hahn, but everybody else is kind of in a battle right now. You see Travis McKinney. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, that is Heath Helton. My apologies. That is Heath Helton. Heath Helton and Marcus, they're battling right now side by side, and I do believe that is for position. So this is a race for position right here. Marcus Brown and Heath Helton racing for the 4th position with 12 minutes left to go in this event. And Heath Helton looks like he's going to take it for Marcus, so put Heath Helton up to the 4th position. And you see the leader, Blake Schock, behind them. Let's go on board here with Heath Helton. Just running nice and smooth. You know, the end is in sight. He's just taken the 4th position away. And right now, I do believe showing, pulling up the leaderboard, that Rob Tolez is in the 3rd position. He's 8 laps in front of Heath Helton right now. So I do believe that maybe Heath Helton is trying to run just hard enough to stay in front of Marcus Brown. Just hard enough to stay in front of Marcus Brown right now. So no reason to really push it. I mean, unless Rob Tolez has an issue. It looks like that Heath Helton could very well wind up in the 4th position here. Winding up as we're just getting ready to come down to the final 10 minutes of this race. Blake Schock still your leader with Paul Hahn now 4 laps, and Paul Hahn in the wall on the right-hander. I don't know if that's going to damage the handling of that car, but Paul Hahn, you see him stopping. Oh man, stopping at the figure 8, the intersection there. But Paul Hahn now currently still running in the 2nd position. He is 4 laps down, and we're getting to the point where he and Marcus collide again. And Marcus, I do believe, has blown up. But Paul Hahn, once again, the bad luck strikes. He's able to keep the car going, but he's going to lose another lap to Blake Schock right now, who is, again, leading and avoiding the most catastrophe. But What a tough break. Let's go back and take a look here really quick at what happened. We're going to go on board here with Paul Hahn. You see, you could hear him right there. He kind of had a momentary lapse. Off the gas, then back on it, and that just nowhere to go for Marcus or for Paul Hahn. So, take a look at this once again with Marcus Brown. He is currently on pit lane. Take a look at this replay from Marcus Brown as he and Paul Hahn collide here with just 10 minutes left in this event. Going, and just nowhere to go. And you can hear the engine blow up right there. So Marcus is going to lose time. He was battling Heath Helton for that 4th position. A tough break. He is back out on the track. But unfortunately now Marcus Brown in the 5th position, 22 laps down. So a little bit of breathing room there for Heath Helton, at least for that 4th position is concerned. But Blake Schock right now kind of putting it maybe on cruise control. He's got just about 8.5 minutes left here in this event. Just putting it on cruise control. Hopefully maybe he can avoid everything that's been happening to him. See the cones out on the track. Lots of cone death tonight here at Irwindale, that's for sure. Locking up the right front tire. You see that Marcus Brown is coming back on pit lane, or it's coming back out onto the track. Marcus Brown, unfortunately, looks like he is smoking from that car. I'm going to take a look back really fast to see what happens to Marcus Brown, as he is now just having a very terrible end to this race. And it looks like he and Paul Hahn again. Nope, I'm sorry. I keep getting them confused. Rob Toles from the 3rd position running into Marcus Brown. So if Rob Toles is struggling to get back up to speed, it looks very well if he can't get back up there soon. Heath Helton stays clean. Heath Helton may have a chance here for the 3rd position. You can see that Heath Helton is still running. Rob Toles is still in pit lane. So we got, we're coming to 7 minutes left to go here, and it could very well, I mean, if Rob Toles cannot get going within a certain amount of time, Heath Helton could very well take this 3rd position and keep his fight back up to the front. Let's ride on board here with Blake Schock. Actually, we're not going to ride on board. We're going to do the panoramic view once again. Kind of keep a tab on everybody here as we're coming down to just about 6.5 minutes left in this event. And you can see 284 laps put down by Blake Schock here tonight. And that number will continue to climb. I don't think he will be able to break 300 quite yet. Don't think he'll be able to break 300, as a lap time is usually about 20 seconds per lap, give or take 20-21 seconds per lap. So, but he has laid down quite a bit of rubber here tonight, putting the laps down, picking them up, putting them down. Going to see if we can pick up Paul Hahn here. Paul Hahn is currently in a little bit of a battle right now. What looks like Travis McKinney. Travis McKinney again being shown 6th place, 29 laps down. But he and Travis McKinney are side by side here on the racetrack. Paul Hahn again ran really close to Blake Schock this better part of the second half of this race. And unfortunately, some really bad luck here in the final half hour of this race has really seemed to have taken Paul Hahn out of the race right now, at least the race for the lead. Paul Hahn did capture the lead there for, I think, maybe a grand total of a minute. And then, unfortunately, he got hit at the intersection, very close there between Travis McKinney and Heath Helton once again. 5 minutes left to go here at Irwindale. Blake Schock still your leader, 5 laps ahead of the field. I think it might be safe to say that Blake Schock could very well have this thing just about in the bag here tonight. But again, it's a figure 8, and you never know what can happen. You see that Marcus Brown and Rob Toles are racing side by side there. Currently, nobody right now is on the same lap as the other. Blake Schock with a 5-lap gap over Paul Hahn. Paul Hahn's got an 11-lap gap over Rob Toles. And Rob Toles has got a 3-lap gap over Heath Helton. And 5 laps, who's 5 laps over Marcus Brown. And Marcus Brown is 5 laps over Travis McKinney. So nobody here is on the same number of laps as each other. We have just about 3.5 minutes left in this race. And woo, very close right there with the leader Blake Schock and Travis McKinney. What a great performance that Blake Schock has put on here tonight. He's been running up front most of the night. And after Doc Stout, who dominated the first hour, the first half of this event, he ran into trouble right at the halfway point of this race and dropped out. Blake Schock, it was kind of put in his lap at that point, and he is not disappointed whatsoever. Another close call right there with he and Travis McKinney, as he is on now 294 laps. He may get to 300 after all. He may get to 300. We will see. Just under 3 minutes left to go here in this event. Eliminate the user interface here. Whoa! Oh, he gets hit from Travis. It's not enough, though. He's going to cut down. Oh, very close. And he's going to come into pit lane with just 3 minutes left. Apparently, the damage is severe enough to where he cannot continue. He's got to come into pit lane. But he has a 5-lap gap, and it looks like Heath Helton has also got smoke. He's made contact with somebody. Do believe that Heath Helton, and you see that Blake Schock is coming back on pit lane. Little bit of a scare right there for him, as we got 2 minutes left in this event, and he is back out on the track. He has lost a lap to Paul Hahn. And he's going to go out there, and I do believe he's just going to try to ride around. I don't know if they fix much, if any, damage at all on that pit stop there, but he's going to go out there and I guess try to just limp it home. I mean, he's so close right now. You know, we got 1.5 minutes left in this 2-hour race. And I do believe at this point, it's pretty fair to say that Blake Schock is going to have this thing pretty well wrapped up and in the bag, as we come to just 1:15 seconds left now in this race. He is on lap 298. So it might be 300 laps right on the dot here, depending on how the pace goes. And we have just 1 minute left here in this event here at Irwindale. You see Travis McKinney coming out of pit lane. A good heads-up move by Blake Schock, stopping there. He is on lap 299. Contact right there with Marcus and Travis and Heath Helton. Big contact there in the intersection. But Blake Schock is able to avoid the disaster. One more lap here. I do believe this will probably be the final lap here. He is on lap 300. 300 laps here tonight by Blake Schock. Coming now to just 10 seconds left in this 2-hour event. He does complete 300 laps. So 300 laps on the board by Blake Schock. A great, impressive run. And that is it. The race is now over. Everybody's going to come and finish up the lap that they are on. Blake Shock. It's going to come off of the right-hander. It's going to come here, cross the line, and take the victory here tonight at Irwindale, the figure 8 configuration. Big congratulations to Blake Shock on the victory. As Paul Hahn is still out there running. He is in second right now. Rob Tola is in third. Heath Helton is on pit lane, and he is in fourth. Marcus Brown currently in fifth. Travis McKinney sixth. Doc Stout seventh. Jason Cotterill coming home in eighth. Julian Rubelo in ninth. And John Peterson shotgun on the field. The guys are still running around here. Ooh, contact right there with oh man. Blake Shock and Rob Toles making big contact right there. Taking the scenic views right now. The guys are still running out there right now. I don't know if the officials have gotten the word that it's 2 hours now, but it has now been 2 hours. The guys are still out there turning laps. So right now we've currently got that Blake Shock is probably going to end up being the winner here. Ooh, contact right there with Marcus and Rob. My goodness. Don't know if the officials are quite aware that it has been 2 hours, but we do thank you guys for tuning in to this event. Guys are still running out here. I don't believe that the race is quite over yet. Gonna focus right here on Paul, excuse me, not Paul, but Blake Shock. He's still out there running right now. He's got a 3-lap gap over Paul Hahn, so that little mishap right there did cost him a couple of laps, but he's still pretty secure and pretty solid right now as far as the standings go. Rob Tola's in third, Heath Helton fourth, Marcus Brown in fifth. Blake Shock has dominated the last half of this event. Riding on board here with Blake Shock on the gyro cam. Did have a misunderstanding right there. Do apologize about that. So the race was 2 hours, also considering with the pace car and the grid time. So do apologize about that for the false statement there. But look at that. Blake Shock now officially the winner here at Irwindale. And he's doing some donuts there in the middle of the figure 8. Big congrats to Blake Shock on the win here tonight. Marcus giving him a little friendly bump right there. Oh, wow. And look at the amount of laps he turned. 310 laps turned by Blake Shock tonight. Big congratulations to Blake Shock on the win here, the iRaceSims Invitational. And Marcus having a little bit of fun after the race. You see Travis McKinney doing some donuts, Marcus and Heath Helton. Paul Hahn's going to come home in the second position, 3 laps down. Rob Tola is coming home third, 15 laps down. Heath Helton fourth, 21 laps down. Marcus Brown fifth, 27 laps down. Excuse me. Travis McKinney, 32 laps down in the sixth position. Doc Stout, 169 laps down. Again, Doc Stout dominated the first hour of this event. Dominated the first hour of the event, but he ran into trouble halfway and had to park it. So tough break for Doc Stout. He's going to come home 7th. Jason Cotterill 8th. Julian Rubelo in 9th. And John Peterson shotgun on the field in the 10th position. So, again, big congratulations to Blake Schock on his victory here tonight at Irwindale. Guys, we're going to come back and we're going to have interviews with some of your top finishers here live from this invitational race here at Irwindale. So do not go anywhere. We're going to take a short break. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Channel switched.
What a hell of a race.
How did that look watching?
It was fucking crazy.
Did it ever just get boring?
No, I mean, the parts that where it maybe got us strung out a little bit or whatever, I kind of just like took a little bit of a break right there. I mean, just kind of like went away but for a little bit, but then came back. So yeah, it was fun as hell. Everybody was enjoying it in the comments.
How many people did you have watching?
I think at most, I think I saw 21.
Really?
Yeah, I had a decent amount.
Is that more than you usually have?
Yeah, it's about where I usually have. I'm still broadcasting right now. I've gone away. Give me about 30 seconds and I'm gonna come back, and then I'll just kind of talk to you guys a little bit about the race.
Step up and have a cigarette real quick. I'll be back in a minute.
Better make it quick, Travis.
You want me to wait?
Yeah, if you want to wait, give me about 15 seconds. I'm gonna come back.
Butt hurts.
Yeah, my knees are walking in.
All right, everybody, welcome back to tonight's iRaceSims, the Open Invitational here, the figure eight inside of the Irwindale Speedway. And Dale Reynolds in the booth here. I'm standing by with some of your top finishers here. We're all kind of gathered together. Heath Helton, Paul Hahn, Travis McKinney, Jason Cotterill, we're all kind of sitting here in the channel. And, man, what a heck of a race tonight. First things first, I want to ask you, Heath and Travis, you guys, of most of everybody, I think you guys had a tag team going because you guys ran into each other more often than not than any other two tonight. Kind of having a meeting of the minds there. What was that all about?
I think neither one of us wanted to stop.
I was in the mode of live for nobody all night long.
That definitely looked like it was the case, man. You guys did a heck of a job right now getting everybody together. You guys obviously adminning, you know, talk about bringing this league back together. Again, you guys are formerly known as PORA, and now it's iRaceSims. Talk about what you guys are planning on doing in the future as far as this league going forward.
Not real sure at the moment. We've got some ideas that we've been passing around. Actually want to talk about it tonight, but looking at 8 or 10 week season coming up with some type of car. Maybe multiple cars, maybe multiple tracks. We're not sure yet.
Kind of looking to get, you know, some of our old guys back together that we used to run with all the time, and you know, just it's time to get back together and have some fun.
That's a big 10-4 on that, and you guys, I think you guys did a great job here tonight. Again, do appreciate you guys allowing us to broadcast your race tonight. I want to step over here to Paul Hahn. I don't know if Paul Hahn's still here or not, but Paul, man, you ran this race pretty conservatively, and you ran good all night. You took the lead there with about 40 minutes left. You had worked on getting around the leader at that point. You had the lead for maybe a collective minute and a half, and then you ran into a lot of trouble in the half hour. Talk about your night.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it seemed like when bad luck hit, it hit multiple times in one short period, and then I would go long flag run with no problems, but you know, it's all luck out there. It's hard to see the cars coming through the intersections, and you're trying to time everything, but that last one I was right on his bumper. I knew I needed to stay right with the leader to keep pressure on him, and I think that's when I got together with Heath. But, you know, it is what it is. It was fun. I had a blast. I'd do it again.
Absolutely. It looked like it was pretty crazy here from the booth as well. We had a lot of guys watching. We had everybody watching, and man, there were times where I was about to jump out of the booth, you know, trying to commentate, and I'm running out of breath and everything. But Paul, you come away with a nice second place finish tonight. I mean, it definitely seemed like bad luck happened, you know, at the wrong time. You know, you worked on it and worked on it. Heath, going back to you, what happened at the start of the event? Did you just kind of get collected there at the intersection at the start and just kind of had to work your way back up at that point?
Well, I was trying to keep up with the leader. He was pretty quick. I don't know what happened to him. That guy was from France. I don't know. He had an issue with his quick fixes, but just trying to keep pace with him. And 2 or 3 laps in, I did not expect to get hit through the middle, so I wasn't even watching. But after that, it was just downhill from there. Seemed like I was the one getting hit all the time.
Yeah, definitely, sure. You were involved in quite a bit of them. Like I said, talked about earlier, that you and Travis were running into each other quite a bit there. We did notice that, you know, Travis, again, you looked like you had issues there early on. And from what I could tell, Travis, you were really fighting the handling of that car. Looked like more than anybody else tonight. You had a little bit of a self-spin there going into the right-hander. What was the handling issues there? You just having trouble getting those rear tires hooked up?
I missed the setup. I made some changes after qualifying, and it felt like my toe was all knocked out. And I mean, just had like super grip in the front and no grip in the rear. So I was pushing like a freight train through the corners and spinning the tires all the way down the straightaway. So it made for a very long night, which made the intersection even worse because it was a handful just keeping the car going around the track. So I didn't have any time to watch out for the intersection. So I was just, that's why I was in the mode of I'm not lifting for nobody because I had my hands full all night.
Yeah, it definitely looked like your hands full all night. Jason Cotterhill, are you here, sir? Jason, don't worry, we didn't forget about you, man. Jason, you had yourself, looked like you were having a good run there early on, but we noticed that you were kind of sitting on pit road for a very, very long time. Jason, what happened there, man?
I boo-booed my quick fix button up and ended up with just under an hour fix.
Oh, that really sucks to hear that Jason didn't have the quick fixes right. It looked like you're having a pretty good run up there for a little while. Talk about racing up there with Paul Hahn and some of the other guys, trying to, you know, keep yourselves back on that lead lap and try to keep it close to Doc Stout. Doc Stout was fastest first half of the run. How tough was it to try to stay up front there for the time that you were up there?
I was actually enjoying it. Yeah, Doc was fast. I don't know what happened with Doc, but yes, it was good fun. It's actually more to it when you get into the race. You can before you get to the intersection, I got nailed a couple of times, but yeah, once you get hit, it's
yeah, 10-4.
fun.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely looked fun from the booth. You know, unfortunately, we tried to reach out for Doc Stout for comment. Doc Stout, again, very frustrated about what happened. I guess that from the rumors that are going around, he has already checked out for the race this evening. And unfortunately, Blake Schock is also checked out as well, guys. So, Heath, I'm going to roll right down the list here. Heath, Jason, Paul, Travis. You know, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to on the race tonight?
Just all the guys that showed up. That's the main thing. We wanted about 20 cars. We got half that. So just everybody that came, showed up, everybody that watched, appreciate it. Just stay tuned. We're going to have a season coming up, and I think it's going to be something that's going to challenge drivers and also be fun for everybody. So just stay tuned for that.
I'd just like to say thanks for everybody for coming out. Dale, you for broadcasting, and then, you know, Figure 8 was something different. It was something just to kick back, get the guys together, have some fun, and get ready for this upcoming season. I know we still got some details to go over with, and we'll get everything ironed out, but it's looking like it should be a lot of fun. I hope everybody comes back.
Jason Cotterhill, Paul Hahn, any final comments from you gentlemen?
I I just want to thank Travis and Heath for putting it on, trying to get the gang back together. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. And thanks, Dale, for broadcasting this. It had to be a heck of a ride in the broadcast booth watching us crazy guys going around in an 8. But next time you'll have to be down there.
Yeah, definitely would like to do that as well. Jason, any final comments from you, sir?
Just big thank you to Heath and Travis and yourself, Dale. I can't wait. Hopefully I can make some races and get back into some online racing.
Jason, tell everybody where you're at. Anybody that's still listening, where you live at?
I'm in Waitakere, New Zealand, Auckland. It's 5:45 at night here on Wednesday night.
Wow, he's way out there. And Jason, we appreciate the commitment that you have, being way so far out from most everybody else that was running in this room tonight. So, wow, what a crazy race, what a crazy way to introduce the iRaceSims back into, again, the guys formerly known as PORA, getting everybody back together. What a heck of a race! I hope you guys all enjoyed. Myself, I would like to thank Heath and Travis for allowing us to broadcast this race to everybody. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a crazy race. Again, be sure to stay tuned into Reynolds Gaming for any and all content posted up on here. A big thank you again to Heath and Travis for getting this thing back together and allowing us to do broadcast of their race. So be sure to tune in. We'll have some details hammered out. Heath and Travis, all the links in the description of this video are for their website and how to sign up and how to join. It's all there in the description for you. If you guys got iRacing and want to join, feel free to hit up those links and see what the league is all about. But unfortunately, that is all the time I've got for you tonight. So I thank you guys all for tuning in. It was a blast of a race, and a big congratulations to the winner. And the winner tonight, obviously, was, excuse me, I'm trying to go through my list here. I do apologize. Blake Schock, the number 141 modified. He was the big winner tonight. Paul Hahn coming home and finishing second. So thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon down the road. Take care, everybody.